Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm back in the kitchen again. It's Sunday morning and I'm back at it, y'all. I'm getting ready to get Sunday dinner ready because you know the flavor train will be here in about 5 hours from now. It's 9 a.m. I'm getting started with this meal today. It's going to be a good old fashioned country dinner. So I'll tell you what I got on the menu today. I'm going to be doing meatloaf, some lima beans, a broccoli casserole, some rice, and some good old corn muffins. So what I'm going to start with first is the meatloaf so I can go ahead and get it in the oven. And I'll go ahead and give you the recipe for that. Now, I know some people have asked me to print the recipe in the description section, but because I'm doing a complete meal, I always go ahead and give all the ingredients for each one of the entrees that I'm fixing because it's a whole lot to try and type on there. Sorry I can't do that, guys. It just takes too much time and space. So what we're going to do here is get started with the meatloaf. And what I've got in the meatloaf bowl, y'all, I've got some ground turkey, 1 pound and a fourth of ground turkey, 1 pound of ground beef. I've got one large onion, one half of a medium-sized bell pepper, and one stalk of celery. And of course, I put it in my trusty little chopper and chopped it up. Then I've got a cup of breadcrumbs, and if you don't have breadcrumbs, use about 3 or 4 slices of bread. And then I've got 2 eggs in there. I've got and I haven't put it in there yet, but I'm getting ready to put it. This is one of those Lipton onion soup mix packets. I'm going to dump that right in there. If you notice, I've got everything all in there because when I mix, I'm just going to mix it all together. And I also put a dash of Italian seasoning in there because you know us, we have to have that extra flavor. And I've also put in there a teaspoon of black pepper. So we try to keep all those flavors going and everything good and real tasty in that meatloaf because you know meatloaf is one of those old-fashioned meals, um, old-fashioned dishes rather that we remember from childhood. And one of my secret weapon ingredients, maybe not to you, but I just call it secret weapon. I go ahead and put a fourth of a cup of ketchup in there. How about that? That gives it that extra flavor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and go over now to my other dishes. And while I'm at the meatloaf, let's go ahead and talk about the sauce. We're going to put a sauce on top of that meatloaf, and all it is a can of diced tomatoes by Hunt's, and I'm going to put a fourth of a cup of, you guessed it, bell peppers and onions in it, and I'm going to do a fourth of a cup of brown sugar. I don't have it showing yet, but I'm going to put the brown sugar in there. I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt in there, and then I'm going to mix all of that up together. And when I get that mixed together, I'm going to take 1 cup of water. I'm going to put 2 teaspoons of flour in it. I'm going to mix it up real good, and I'm going to pour it into the tomatoes and my veggies. And that's going to make the sauce. So when this meatloaf finishes cooking, I'm going to pour that right over that meatloaf, and I'm going to put it in the oven. So we're going to bake this meatloaf at 350 degrees with a piece of foil laid over it for 1 hour. After that 1 hour, we're going to uncover it and we're going to pour the sauce over it. And we're going to cook it for another 30 minutes. Covered. And then we're going to uncover it for about 5 minutes and let it just sit in the oven a little bit so it can just go ahead and get those flavors through. And then after it comes out of the oven, I always cover mine so those flavors and that steam can just run through that entire meatloaf. Because one thing that I normally do is make my meatloaf up the night before, but since I'm making it up the morning of, I'm going to cover it so those flavors will go through it. So now, at the top of this video, folks, I've given you all the ingredients of how to do this meatloaf, okay? The next thing I'm going to do that's going to take a little bit of doing, I'm doing a broccoli casserole. I took one head of broccoli, one large head of broccoli. I cut it up and I washed it real good. And then I put it on to boil. You can judge how much water you need in that, but just put about a teaspoon of salt in that water while it's boiling, and just boil it for about a good 10 minutes. And then you're going to drain the water off, and then I'm going to show you how. I'm going to tell you how to make the sauce that goes over your broccoli. Okay, it's very simple. You need the one head of broccoli cut up, washed, and boiled. And if you're going to use frozen broccoli. Probably two 10-ounce packages of broccoli to make this size recipe that I'm doing here today. So we're going to need the broccoli, one large head of broccoli, or two 10-ounce frozen packs of broccoli. Okay, and then 1 pound of cheese already grated up, or you can buy some and grate it, and 1/8 of a cup. Remember those bell peppers and onions? I put about 1/8 of a cup in there just to give it that extra punch of flavor. Okay, now for the cream sauce, how to make that? You don't really make the sauce. You just go ahead and put your everything in together, and then you're gonna put you got to put a little bit of flour in there to make it sort of thicken it up a little bit. So for that, you're going to use 2 cups of milk. Now you're not going to pre-cook this or anything. You're just going to mix up 2 cups of milk, 2 eggs, 2 teaspoons of flour, and you're going to beat that real good. And then you're going to pour that right into the broccoli and the other ingredients that you already got in the bowl. And when you get it all mixed up, just pour it into a pan and bake it for 1 hour on 350. Okay? All right. Got the broccoli down pat. Okay? Lima beans. We already did lima beans before, and as you can see, I've already got them boiling. I got 3 pounds of lima beans in 8 cups of water and 1 pound of ham meat, 1 large chicken bouillon cube, and a teaspoon of salt. That's all there is to cooking those lima beans. And you're going to have to cook them for probably, they'll cook maybe an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes. You may have to add a little bit more water in them, so don't panic if they start to dry out before they get good and tender. Because what you want to happen now, you don't want them to dry out. You want to have a thick, thick sauce in those lima beans. And when they get all the way done, you're going to, guess what you're going to put in them? A stick of butter. You know we got to do the butter. So we're going to put a stick of butter in there. And then about a teaspoon of black pepper to pump that flavor up just a little bit more. And of course, we're going to have our trusted old corn muffins and a pot of white rice to serve it with. So let me go back and get this meatloaf going, and I'll come back and let you see what everything looks like just before I get ready to put it in the oven. And of course, when it all comes out, I'm going to let you look at it again. So toodaloo for a few minutes. Let me whip up this meatloaf and get that broccoli casserole ready to go in the oven, because I'm trying to get to church this morning also. Okay, toodaloo. Okay, y'all, that meatloaf is ready. It's formed, it's shaped, it's ready to go in the oven for the first hour. I'm going to put a piece of foil over it. Just take that foil and lay it over it. Don't close it in on the ends. Just lay it over it just like that. And here is the broccoli casserole. Oop, the green bean, the lima beans are steaming up my camera. Anyway, that broccoli casserole is ready to go in the oven. So everything is ready for the oven, and we're going to get it going, y'all. And we're going to see what's going to happen. Okay? How about that? All right, so let me go out of here for a little bit, and we're going to come back and we're going to check everything out, and hopefully everything is going to be just like we wanted. Getting ready to go in that 350-degree oven for 1 hour on that meatloaf, and then take it off for 30 minutes. We're going to put that sauce over and let it cook for that last half hour, and then we're going to bring it out of the oven and cover it back up. And that broccoli casserole is going to come and cook for 1 hour. So I got to get it in now because I got to get ready to get out of here. So toodaloo for a minute. Okay, I'm back. There's a meatloaf. I've got it in the gravy. Got the gravy poured over it. Just help a little bit on top of there. I'm going to cover it. I'm going to run it back through the oven for about 30 more minutes. And then I'm going to take it off for about 5 minutes and just let it brown up a little bit. But that's what the gravy should look like. Got it all mixed up. Remember now, you got to put that flour water in there to thicken that gravy up a little bit, so it'll go and stick onto the rice when you get ready to serve it up. So I'm getting ready to run it back through the oven for another about, well, actually it's going to be 35 to 40 minutes because I'm going to run it through for 30, and then I'm going to uncover it and let it brown up, which takes 5 or 6 minutes. So for right now, I'm going to leave you, and I'm going to go away, and I'll be right back. And I believe it smells like, I believe now, but it smells like my casserole might be ready. Forgive my camera wigglies. I'm the one-armed bandit again today, so let's see. Okay. Yep. That broccoli casserole is ready to eat. It's piping hot. I just pulled it out of the oven. Now I'm going to run that meatloaf back in there. So the broccoli casserole is ready. That's going to be some good eating. Look at all that butter and cheese bubbling around in there. Okay, y'all. So give it a little while and I'll show you what that meatloaf's going to look like, all nice and browned up. And then I'm going to get the corn muffins going. And then the very next time you see this meal all together, I'm going to have rice under that meatloaf. It's going to be on the, what? The flavor train. I'll see you in a little while. Take care now. All right, y'all. I'm back. It's a wrap. It's Sunday dinner. There's the corn muffins, the rice, the broccoli casserole, and that savory, good old meatloaf. Look at how good and luscious it looks. See, that's what happens when you put it back in the oven for 30 minutes without the wrap on it. It browns up and then the gravy cooks. So it's ready to go. I've already sliced the first slice off there. But we're just going to let it sit until everybody gets here. There's this nice lima beans. See that thick juice in there? Looks good, doesn't it? Got that ham meat going. Boy, we're in for a great treat this afternoon. And I went ahead and sliced up some just some tomatoes and onions to eat along with those beans and one of those corn muffins. That's what I like. Throw me a corn muffin over there and some of those beans with some onions and some of that tomato. Lord have mercy, I'm so hungry. You know what? I don't know how I got done cooking so fast. It's just now 2 o'clock. Well, actually, it's 1:54. And we're not going to eat dinner till 3 o'clock. So I've got another hour before the kids all get here. And we sit down and just feast on this dinner. You know, the flavor train runs on schedule. So it's not coming until around 3-ish. So I guess I'll find something. I hate to start without them. But I tell you one thing. If they are 1 minute past 3 o'clock, I'm going to get started. So come on in. Join us. We're going to eat at 3 o'clock. So I'll say toodaloo for now. And the next time you see this meal, guess what, y'all? It's going to be on the flavor train. And they're going to be sitting at the table, eating, enjoying, laughing, and talking like we always do. Thanks for joining us. Love you. Toodaloo.